start again. It's a redskin.
Our next collection data type is tuple. Here also you can store multiple values within a single variable. To define a tuple, you need to first give it a name. So here I am giving it t, and within parentheses you can store multiple different types of data. For example, you can store an integer data like 10 or a float data like 10.5, and you can also store a string like this. Now you can check the type of t. So type of t, so it will be showing tuple like this. Now let's understand different properties of a tuple. So first of all, indexing concept is applicable. You can access any element by using indexing concept. For example, if you want to print this 4 by using indexing concept, then you need to first calculate the index of 4. So index of 4 will be 0, 1, 2. So index of 4 is 2. So you need to write a, and within square bracket you need to pass the index of 4, that is 2. So here I am passing 2. Now if I press enter, it will print 4 like this. So our next property is slicing concept is applicable, by which you can print multiple data from a tuple. For example, here we have a tuple b equals to this, and if you want to print the multiple values like from 3 to 6, then you can use this slicing concept. To do that, we need to first write the tuple name b, and then within square bracket we need to first pass the starting index. In our case, the starting index is 0, 1, 2. So our starting index is 2. So here we need to pass 2 and then give a colon. Then we need to pass the end index plus 1. So our end index is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So our end index is 5, but we need to pass end index plus 1, that is 5 plus 1, that is 6. Now if I press enter, so it is showing this 4 data. Now if you don't know about this slicing and indexing concept, then you can check our previous video where I have explained it in a great detail. I will provide the link in the description. So our next property is tuple is immutable, which means we can't change the value of a tuple after declaration. For example, here we have a tuple t equals to this. And you can access this element by indexing concept, but you can't change the value of it. If you try to change it, then you will get an error. For example, if I try to change the value of this element from 4 to 40, then we will get an error like t, and within square bracket if we pass the index of this element, that is 3, and then if I try to change it from 4 to 40, then we will get an error like this. Tuple object doesn't support item assignment. Our next property is tuple is ordered. For example, here we have a tuple t equals to this, and throughout your program you will always going to get this tuple in this order only. It will not going to change suddenly. Or in other words, you can say here at index 2 we have this element that is 3, and throughout your program you will always going to get this 3 at this index 2. It will not going to change, and this is applicable for all these elements. In tuple, duplicates are allowed. For example, here we have a tuple t equals to this, and in this tuple we have 4 3 times. But tuple will going to consider all these duplicates. It will not going to remove it. For example, if you print this t, now note that tuple has considered all these duplicates. So our next point is how to declare a tuple with a single value. But before that, let me declare an empty tuple. So if you just write t equals to like this, then it will consider as a empty tuple. You can also check the type like type of t, then you will get as tuple. Now suppose you have a tuple with a single value, so you can declare it as like t equals to, and within parentheses you can pass your single value, that is 5 for example. Now if you declare it like this way, then it will not going to consider as a tuple. You can check the type like type of t, so it will print integer, because we can declare an integer value within a parenthesis also like this way. So to declare a tuple with a single value, we need to write, for example, t equals to, within parenthesis you can pass your single value, that is 5, and then you need to give a comma like this way. Now it will consider as a tuple. You can check the type, so type of t, so it is showing tuple. So this is how we can declare a tuple with a single value. So our next topic is tuple unpacking. If you declare a tuple like this way, then it is known as tuple packing. Now, if you want to assign a new variable or different variables for each of these values, then you can use this concept tuple unpacking. So what we need to do is, we need to first give all the variable names within a parenthesis. For example, here I am giving num1, num2, num3 and num4, and then you need to pass the tuple, that is t. Now this num1 will be assigned with this value, that is 1, and num2 will be assigned with this value 2, and so on. Now we can also print this num1, num2, num3 separately. Like if you print like this num1, then it will print 1, and you can also print num2, then it will print 2, and so on. Now we will see different methods that are applicable on this tuple. So our first method is count. It will return the number of occurrence of a particular value. For example, here 3 has occurred 2 times. So now if I apply this method on this tuple, then it will print 2. For example, if I write t.count and within parentheses if I pass 3, then it will print 2. So our next method is index. It will return the index of a particular value. Now if you want to know what is the index of this 4, then you need to write t.index and within parentheses you need to pass the value, that is 4. So it will print the index, that is 4. Now if you want to know what is the index of this 3, then you can write t.index and then you need to pass 3 here. Now it is showing 2. 2 means 0, 1, 2, which means it has considered the first occurrence of that value. So index is going to always give you the index of the first occurrence of that value. It will not going to consider the second or third one. Next we have this length function, which will return the length of a tuple or the number of elements present in a tuple. So if I write length and within parentheses if I pass t, then it will print the length of the t, that is 5. So it is showing 5. Next we have a function that is mean. It will return the minimum value from a tuple. For example, if you want to know what is the minimum value within this tuple, then you need to write mean and then within parentheses you can pass this tuple, that is to t. So it is showing 1 because 1 is the minimum value that is present in this tuple. Similarly, we have this function that is max. It will return the maximum value from a tuple. For example, if you want to know what is the maximum value within this tuple, then you need to write max and within parentheses you need to pass the tuple, that is t. So it is showing 6 because 6 is the maximum value present in this tuple. Now if you want to download the lecture notes, then you can join our Telegram channel, link is in the description.